project targeting to construct 1 million low-cost housing units.
We need to provide the land, which, as you know, provide our accounts for about 30% of the housing projects. Right now, we have a deficit of about 2 million houses, which needs to be done. This deficit has accumulated over time, maybe in the past 60 years. And therefore, we have to start moving faster to close this gap.
10% of the total project amount is to be spent on providing bulk infrastructure, including roads, electricity, sewerage, and water, as well as embarking on reviewing 34 critical regulations that will reduce financing cost. Similarly, the Kenya Mortgage Refinancing Company will also allow financial institutions to offer long-term liabilities such as mortgages with an initial 16 billion shillings debt financing it has received from the World Bank. However, those unable to meet mortgage requirements will be given the option of the rent-to-buy model.
Kibera Zone A, there is such a scheme whereby people put just small deposits. Then what they are paying in rent now becomes the payment of the mortgage. But on average, for low-cost housing, we are looking at something not more than 1.5 million. For social housing, we are looking at the range of about 600 to 800,000.
20% of the houses target social housing or slum upgrade, with another 300,000 for civil servants. The 1 million housing units in total will require 2.6 trillion shillings. Ronald Willie, News Hour Business.
Now, maize farmers who delivered their produce to the National Produce and Cereals Board will start receiving their pay this week. Deputy President William Ruto says the government has set aside 12 billion shillings to facilitate the exercise and that only local farmers will be considered.
Maize farmers who have been delivering maize to National Cereals and Produce Board for the last 2 months have been turned away, with the government saying some unscrupulous traders were taking advantage of the Strategic Food Reserve Program. This will see the rollout of a fresh audit and registration of local farmers. Deputy President William Ruto says the government is not relenting on this position.
Instructed the ministry to ensure that while we are paying our genuine farmers, all brokers and conmen should be targeted and should be eliminated from those lists, and they should be told to go and sell their maize elsewhere. Government has only money to pay for maize delivered from our farms. We are not in the business of buying maize from brokers and business people. They know where to sell their maize.
Ruto directed the Agriculture Ministry to start paying maize farmers from this week, saying funds have already been released to facilitate the exercise that will last a fortnight.
The government of Kenya has also, this year, we will be spending close to 12 billion Kenya shillings to pay our maize farmers, whom we paid 3 billion shillings last year.
He called for more agriculture innovations to help farmers mitigate climate change effects, sentiments echoed by Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mwangi Kiunjuri.
I call on all of you here today and all other agriculture sector players and stakeholders to double their efforts and work together in the development and promotion of viable innovations and appropriate sustainable technologies for this sector.
Stakeholders are urging the government to expedite their search for ready markets for farmers' produce. They warn that lack of proper planning may derail agriculture development, which is one of the government's Big Four plan.
The government plans to conduct complementary studies for the construction of the Thwake Multi-Purpose Water Development Program in Ukambani. Studies to seek to, among others, establish potential loss of infrastructure, human and animal life, development response and protocols, as well as identify health problems which can be addressed with the target project area. In December 2017, the government and residents of Kitui and Makueni counties disagreed on what the proposed Thwake Dam should prioritize first. The locals wanted the 42 billion shillings dam to produce water for domestic purposes and irrigation, while the government insisted on electricity. Having come to a consensus, the government, through the State Department of Irrigation, has invited eligible consultants to express their interest in conducting complementary studies on the mega dam. A statement in part reads, the State Department has received financing from the African Development Bank towards the cost of the Thwake Multi-Purpose Water Development Program Phase 1 and intends to apply part of the loan to payments under the contracts for the following studies: Thwake Dam Break Analysis and Emergency Preparedness Plan, the development and implementation of a monitoring and evaluation integrated management information system, and a health impact assessment on Thwake Multi-Purpose Water Development Program. End of quote. The program is designed to be undertaken in 4 non-simultaneous phases: construction of a reservoir, generation of power, installation of a water and sewerage system, and building an irrigation system. The first study aims at identifying what-if scenarios in the event of a dam breach so as to develop response plans and protocols, while the second one is geared towards developing programs that will enable monitoring and evaluation of the project. The health impact assessment is to identify health problems that can be addressed alongside issues of HIV and AIDS within the target area and target communities in the program. Already 90% of compensation of land has been done, and the rest are set to be compensated before the project officially commences. The project will take about 3 years to be fully completed. Well, it's a wrap on matters business. John Jacob Curia is up next with what has been happening in the sporting arena. Do have yourself a pleasant evening. I'm Regina Manaragitao.
This week on Road to Success, our guest is Patricia Mwangi of Campus, Kenya.
I think that the greatest fear that people have is trust. Will you deliver on time? And so once you build a reputation whereby you guarantee your customer that yes, I will deliver on time, even without you chasing me, then 100% you're guaranteed that they will come out.
Later on, we talk about e-wedding.